The architecture of galactic hegemony is rarely a matter of stable borders. It is a meticulously calibrated, high-pressure confluence of corporate avarice and political fragility, where the survival of a species depends not on the might of its armadas, but on the capacity of its outcasts to recognize the patterns in the void. And in Amaranthe I Rise, the expansive, atmospheric, and lethally paced omnibus of G.S. Jennsen's seminal Aurora Rising Trilogy, the concept of interstellar exploration is deconstructed into a cold, tactical instrument of existential warfare. Jennsen, the navigator-architect of this star-scorched, conspiracy-riddled, and reality-warping odyssey, delivers a visceral, deeply intense, and soul-searing masterpiece that treats the act of scouting not as a mapping exercise, but as a systematic, reality-anchoring necessity. This isn't a story of whimsical, laser-blasting pioneers. It is a rapid-fire, deeply intense plunge into the logistical nightmare of maintaining a foothold in a sector where the physical laws themselves have a predatory agenda. The perilous collision between a desperate scout's search for autonomy and the absolute, unchecked malice of an ancient, reality-bound entity that views mortal discovery as a contaminant to its ecosystem. And the terrifying truth that when you rise into the unknown, you don't just traverse the stars, you synthesize a reality-stabilizing buffer against the encroaching, sanity-eroding void. Jennsen hooks the audience instantly by constructing a high-stakes, hyper-focused trap. Alex Solovey, a disenfranchised scout of Earth Alliance royalty, forced to defend her sector's stability against a series of supernatural invasions, finds herself bound to a legacy that requires the systematic, tactical manipulation of nature's own, unrefined warp physics to survive. The narrative center zeroes in on the protagonist's methodical, high-pressure descent into the starshine stitching, a state of hyper-rational, disaster-reverse perception that forces them to parse the fundamental, reality-rewriting intent of their ship-aligned tech. As they traverse the oppressive, radiation-soaked wreckage of the orbital blockade and the dangerously shifting, memory-saturated nebulae of the sector's borderlands, they realize that their resilience is not merely a service provision. It is a systemic catalyst that is drawing the attention of the architects, entities that hunt those who dare to master the energy that consumes reality. The investigation into the sudden, coordinated collapse of the sector's most valuable, magically charged warp gates quickly escalates into a dangerous, high-stakes tactical chess match as they discover that the entire interstellar structure has been covertly funded by the very darkness they are working to keep at bay. Forced to juggle the logistical nightmare of managing a rapidly decaying, reality-bending research project, the constant suffocating threat of archival erasure, and the mounting undeniable encounter with the cost of their own burgeoning power, they must synthesize a new way of existing, one built on tactical linguistics, radical, improvised warp anchoring, and an unyielding, purely human refusal to let their truth be redacted by the void's relentless physics-enforcing machinery. Jennsen's writing style is unapologetically rhythmic, machine-gun fast, and saturated with an intense, authentic blend of space arcane jargon, sharp, cynical, intellectual wit, and high-stakes environmental dread. She builds exceptional structural tension by pairing the mundane, aching routines of survival, cross-referencing tactical flight logs, deciphering forbidden star-aligned texts, and enduring the quiet, crushing weight of constant vigilant isolation, with the chaotic, nightmare-filled assaults of the sector's truth-guarding spirits. The story moves forward with a relentless, momentum-driven energy, turning routine analytical probes, calculated maneuvers through the nebula's secret plasma-filled basements, and tense, high-stakes standoffs with lethal, logic-warping figures into pulse-pounding steps closer to an inevitable, reality-defining confrontation. The presentation thrives on this sharp, analytical focus, making every discovered anomaly, every executed reality stabilization command, and every deep-seated fear confronted feel like a high-stakes victory for the human spirit. What makes Amaranthe I Rise an exceptional entry in the modern space opera canon is Jennsen's unparalleled ability to develop a highly compelling, logic-driven crew whose cognitive discipline is treated as a supreme navigational asset rather than a tragic, fanging memory. Watch as they transform their experience with obscure, nebula-bound data into a compass, learning to navigate the chaotic heavens to outmaneuver a power that operates with absolute, terrifying precision. As the structural walls of their reality begin to collapse and the true scope of the Amaranthe danger is exposed, the pacing transforms into a breathless, heart-pounding race to maintain the shred of truth they carry, before their consciousness is permanently unstitched by the void's relentless physics-enforcing machinery. The final act is an absolute masterclass in suspense, delivering a barrage of explosive realizations, shattered paradigms, and a spectacular, jaw-dropping climax that completely leaves the reader thoroughly stunned. For fans of thrillers demanding a brilliant, character-driven, and masterfully paced exploration of physics and interstellar imperialism, this collection delivers in unforgettable shockwaves.